right, everybody, welcome. Saturday morning cartoons with Pops. That's right. Here we are again. We're going to talk about X-Men animated series. I hope that you are watching along with me, enjoying the rewatch, enjoying revisiting this amazing animated series that just basically catapulted X-Men to like a whole new level. That's for sure. This week, we'll be talking about episode 10 in season 2. It's called Beauty and the Beast. And this is basically like Hank McCoy. I don't even like using Beast. It's almost like it's a Hank McCoy story, right? It's Hank's tragic situation of being a mutant. And I say it's all very cautiously because it's not about being an origin story or anything like that. It's a great litmus test of the universe that they've created on what it's like to be a mutant who can't hide their mutant expression. Because sometimes that in Beast's case, I mean, he looks like, a blue animal, right? So anyway, it starts of course, Hank is, of course, a genius scientist. He's working in an eye clinic. He's working on a hospital cure to blindness, working with a doctor. Dr. Bolson is the character's name. And Hank has really become fond of, her name is Carly. And she's going to have this procedure. And during the middle of this conversation or so, there's some smoke, and you realize that they're going to go out. They're going to go out a window because there's an angry mob. You got those crazy friends of humanity attacking everything again, and basically even force Beast into a corner where he shoos the doctor and Carly away, and he basically grabs two of the guys and throws them on the other guys to defend himself and that kind of thing. And of course, as the news reports on this, of course, it's always very anti-mutant. The other X-Men are watching that, of course, and you have great Wolverine lines about, bigots attacking hospitals and stuff like that. And he tries to put on this disguise. Kind of makes me laugh. But he fakes an injury in disguise so he can try to infiltrate this Friends of Humanity hate group, basically. And that storyline's going one direction. And then Beast is navigating the hospital situation, the situation with Carly, because the hospital board, after that mob attack, they don't want Beast around, right? The dad doesn't want Beast around. In fact, and Carly's dad, in fact, is this outspoken, basically he calls him a filthy mutant, doesn't want that filthy mutant touching his daughter. And when Beast has a moment, he's going through pictures, and you see like young Hank and Beast Hank, and you see the frustration, you see his heartbrokenness about dealing with his circumstance. And he throws the book and looks in a mirror, and Jean is there, and she kind of has some, nice words for him, but it doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't mean anything, right? Because he knows that society's so broken. There's not really a way that he really can live like quietly among things. And I remember as a kid, I remember reading Avengers comics first. That's really kind of where I kind of was reintroduced in Marvel. And then, of course, even as an adult collector, it would be Beast walking with Wonder Man, who's kind of like a quasi-celebrity at this point in the comic book. And Beast is kind of like doing this and doing that. But he knows he's blue. He knows he's this. So he kind of like, he's a jokester. He's kind of fun. He's got this nice demeanor about him. And in this episode, we have the dark side of that, where Beast really just kind of knows. He just knows it's just a messed up world. He's not going to fit, right? And even when he tries to show back up using Jean's advice to be there for Carly, the dad's freaking out. Carly can see, and she loves it. She cares about him. You can see this sweetness in I care about you. I care about you, the person, not this blue creature. That's not Hank to her, right? And and you got the whole, if anything happens to her moment, because Carly's taken, right? Because there's another attack and Harley's taken. You have the Friends of Humanity people, and this is where Wolverine's been trying to get infiltrate. So you have those two stories coming together. So you have the first part where Wolverine is kind of baiting Graydon Creed along, trying to figure out more about him. And he starts to figure out that he's Sabretooth's son. And there's a nice comment about Canada and some of those kinds of things. And this all happens right before Beast shows up. And then, of course, the X-Men show up later. And I will say it is kind of funny. The gags are always kind of fun because they're just kind of thrown in. And I don't even know that kids would have gotten it, but it was like you know, Beast has a girlfriend, and Wolverine has a comment about, well, wonders ever cease. And they kind of repeat that later on too, where, you know, Beast is the one going berserk and Wolverine is the one being smart. And Jubilee makes a comment about, you know, will wonders ever cease kind of thing. Graydon, of course, is the leader of these bigots, talking about mutants need to be exterminated and all of that kind of thing. So I will say this kind of funny whenever Wolverine kind of reveals who he really is, and they're talking about human, I don't know, he's talking about human rights, but rights. What right do you have? And he pulls out his claws, you know, the snake, and it's like, these give me plenty of rights. And I laugh, and I'm also like cheering because I'm like, yes. So yeah, anyway, that was kind of fun. And this is where you start to go, yeah, I know who you are, Creed. You're Sabretooth's son, blah, blah, blah. And then whenever the X-Men show up, and Cyclops destroys the wall with his optic blast, and Jubilee activates his hologram, and you see Sabretooth with Xavier narrating what they've learned about Sabretooth. And it puts Graydon on the spot because, you know, Sabretooth is, they changed his name. So he's not Victor Creed. He's Graydon Creed Sr., which I think is a horrible change. No idea why they make those kinds of change. Maybe you guys know why they did it. I actually didn't look it up or anything like that. And basically Beast just has to tell Carly, listen, we can't be together. It really wouldn't be safe for her, right? Because there's going to be these kind of mobs. There's going to be mutant outrage. These kinds of things they can't go out in public. But I will say what is really sweet and what makes the episode very emotional was when they see Carly's dad. He's very sweet to Beast, very grateful that his daughter is safe. And as they leave, you kind of have this emotional sadness that kind of overwhelms you with the characters, because, you know, Beast is just he's in a lot of pain, and it's kind of a heartbreaking episode in a lot of ways. It's similar to what we had with Rogue's origin and things like that, where you're going through the character dynamics and fleshing out some of these kind of elements. And Beast is a very tragic X-Men, and maybe you don't always get to see that. And I think this episode really highlights that. The other little subplot that does return this episode, they skipped it for an episode. We're back to the Savage Land. If you remember, Charles, Xavier, and Magneto are trapped in the Savage Land. It dates back several episodes. They keep doing these little snippets that kind of piece things together. Here, they get caught up in a trap, like a net catches them. And then, of course, there's Amphibus. I think it's how you say his name, Amphibus. He's an OG Uncanny X-Men character, and he's got them. He's telling them a story about, you know, being mutant and having powers now, blah, blah, blah. And then there's like an attack, because they're just looking like a little raft going down the water. And there's an attack with these snakes or whatever. And the two of them escape. And that's kind of where that goes. It's actually kind of snuck in the early portion of this episode, I think. I think it's in the first third or so. I've long been critical of that approach to doing all this. I don't know why there's not just Savage Land story, but that's okay. Like the episode, don't know it's one of the greatest of all time or anything like that, but again, it is very interesting to see how mature this content was 30 years ago for kids. Like, it is interesting to see this approach to the writing and making people like Beast, wanting to be like Beast, wanting to get Beast action figures, Beast comic books. It really is a very smart strategy of making likable and heroic characters that people can relate to. And maybe that also is because of relationship stuff. Someone that's, you know, they will end up in a relationship, and then like the dad is objecting, and this X-Men stuff, these life lessons and way to move things along. It's like, well, we can't be together. That's a very powerful message of reality for a lot of people to have to embrace. Like, sometimes just because you're just in love doesn't mean it's going to work out and everything's going to fall into place. So love it. Love it. Hope you're enjoying the rewatch. It's going to continue next week. 9 and 9:30. So 9:30 Eastern time, you'll see the video will drop for the Batman animated series today. Hope you're enjoying that. I love all your suggestions and comments. I'm going to try to add a few more commercials at the end of these to kind of give you more of that flavor of Saturday morning cartoons, especially what I grew up with. So that's a lot of what I'm trying to shoot for. I love your feedback and all that as well. Thank you so much for watching. I am Pops.
It's time for bed.
That's easy for you to say.
Come on, guys, it's time to go to sleep.
Need some cookies.
It's your turn to get the cookies, you know, Ronald.
It always is. They come in the shapes of your favorite McDonaldland friends.
I'll trade you 2 Big Macs for a Captain Crook.
Now we can't sleep with the moon shining in our eyes.
It's your turn to put out the moon, Ronald.
It always is.
Is that your idea of loyal and trustworthy, Master?
I guess you were right about her.
Well, there goes the old surfing championship.
No way!
Huh?
Jeannie can be my partner.
I can? You mean it? Oh, Master!
What's up, Jeannie?
I'm going to be my master's partner.
All right, little car, you're about to disappear. Yapple dapple, vanish!
Maybe the only reason you buy Kool-Aid is because your children ask for it. But if you think about it, there are better reasons. Kids aren't the only ones who like Kool-Aid. Parents do, teenagers, even grandparents. And you can quench everybody's thirst with Kool-Aid for about half the price of the leading brand of soda. The Kool-Aid is lighter and also has vitamin C. You know, buying Kool-Aid's smarter than you think.
Hostess fruit pies in cherry, apple, berry, and other favorite flavors with more fruit filling than crust, with a flaky, soft crust that's sugar glazed. Snack time, anytime. You get a big delight in every bite.
Yeah. Right? And I'm not playing no